Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned in to NB12, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, officials reveal how low the murder detection rate is and what police are doing about it. This as police commissioners from throughout the region gather for a 5-day conference to discuss crime-fighting strategies. Convicted sex offender Andre Berbal back in court, plus 10 new senators receive appointments at Government House. We've got those stories and so much more coming up. I'm Paige McCartney, and NB12 starts right now. Well, welcome once again to NB12. Though murders in 2012 are occurring at a faster pace than they were last year, police aren't arresting those responsible as quickly as they would like to. Authorities revealed today that the homicide detection rate is less than 50%. In some cases, witnesses are too afraid to come forward with information. Well, during the opening of the 27th Annual Conference of the Association of Caribbean Commissioners of Police, the National Security Minister revealed that the government's new witness protection program will be implemented in short order. Here's VAUGHNIQUE TOOTE.
Faced with more than 10 murders since coming to office, the Christie administration has vowed to launch an unparalleled assault on crime. National Security Minister Dr. Murdo Nottage made that announcement today during the official opening ceremony of the ACCP conference. Dr. Nottage said one of the major challenges homicide detectives face is getting witnesses to come forward. Of the 57 murders committed so far this year, police say they have arrested suspects in only 26 cases. That's a 46% detection rate, when a few years ago, police boasted of a 70% rate. The National Security Minister says the government is currently working on establishing an effective witness protection program. He expects that to come on stream in less than a month.
We have to have an effective and efficient witness protection program that enables people to be able to share with the police the information that they have, which could lead to the conviction of those persons who are engaged in these activities.
Nottage says the government expects the implementation of the Witness Protection Program and other proposed initiatives like Operation Safe Bahamas, Urban Renewal 2.0, and Swift Justice to significantly reduce the level of crime in the Bahamas. Prime Minister Perry Christie says Bahamians must come to realize that it will be difficult to keep them safe from criminals if they don't cooperate with police.
We will be embarking on initiatives that are calculated to involve the citizens of our country on the basis that they will come to understand, if they don't, that to a great extent their safety and their security depends on the level to which they are prepared to join in that fight at whatever level they're operating at, and in their communities.
During a news conference held shortly after this morning's opening ceremony, Commissioner of Police and ACCP President ELLISON GREENSLADE said he also expects a package of anti-crime bills passed in Parliament late last year to help in this regard. One of them was the Witness Anonymity Bill, which provides certain protections for people who are willing and able to assist police in their investigations of crimes and in providing evidence in criminal proceedings.
Recently, there was a raft of legislation passed through the Parliament here in the Bahamas. The genesis of a lot of those legislations, the changes for that matter, was a result of discussions between Caribbean commissioners, more specifically Commissioner from Cayman, Bermuda, and indeed Jamaica, who spoke to the business of anonymity legislation, the business of increasing penalty for gun crimes, and for targeting prolific offenders and ensuring that the legislation certainly has teeth.
During today's conference, government officials also revealed that members of the Royal Bahamas Police and Defense Forces will be working much more closely together on the war against crime than they have before. Dr. Nottage says the two law enforcement agencies will pool their resources and some personnel will have to be reorganized so the government can get the results it wants. Commissioners of police from throughout the region will spend the next few days revisiting old strategies and exploring new ones in hopes of dealing with this vexing problem of crime. Reporting for NB12, I'm VAUGHNIQUE TOOTE.
Well, commissioners from 24 countries in the region are participating in the 5-day conference. This year's theme is Transforming National Success into Regional Action, Successful Partnerships for Effective Policing. Commissioner Greenslade says there are a number of pointed issues on the agenda.
One of the issues that will be given primacy is the illicit trafficking of weapons, and certainly the concomitant problems that result. We will also be looking at topics around the investigation of cybercrime, and as we extend that particular topic, high-tech crime, not just the cyberspace bit of it, but high-tech crime. Given the technological advances that we now see, that is a very complex, complicated arena to work in, and certainly is something that demands comparative advantage and tremendous skills. We will also be looking at the business of trafficking in persons.
Well, officials plan to reveal their findings after the conference ends on Friday. Well, despite a slightly leaky ceiling in the Court of Appeal this morning, preliminary proceedings in the appeal of convicted child molester Andre Burbal began today. But just minutes in, the case nearly came to a screeching halt after Burbal attempted to fire yet another lawyer, his second in a matter of months. Jasmine Bonamy has more.
Convicted sex offender Andre Burbal was back in the Court of Appeal this morning, 3 months after he unceremoniously fired his lawyer in the very same courtroom. But as quickly as the status hearing began, Burbal's lawyer Jaira Mangra quickly let it be known that Burbal did not want his representation. The announcement in court came moments after a heated conversation between Burbal and Mangra outside the courtroom. Mangra is the second lawyer to represent Burbal in the Court of Appeal. He was appointed by the court after Burbal fired Craig Butler on March 12th. Burbal claimed he had serious concerns about the case Butler was presenting. Burbal is appealing his guilty verdicts for having sex with 2 male students from 8 Mile Rock High School. He was sentenced to 35 years in prison. Burbal, a former art and computer-assisted design instructor, taught one of the boys for 5 years and the other for just 6 weeks. The victims reported the abuse to police after they graduated from high school. Now, this is the 5th time Burbal appeared in the Court of Appeal since filing his appeal after his January 2011 conviction. Today, Mangra told Court of Appeal Presidents Anita Allen and Justices Stanley John and Abdoulaye Conte that although he had met with Burbal in prison several times since March, the Trinidadian native insisted he was being represented by a lawyer from Monroe and Associates. When asked by Justice Allen what appeared to be the issue, Burbal said he thought attorney Wayne Monroe would be his lawyer since he claimed he had been visited in prison by one of Monroe's associates, Tony Lewis. But Justice Allen insisted that Mangra was the only lawyer appointed to Burbal and that the court would recognize no one else. Still, for the next 15 minutes, Burbal continued to insist that he did not want Mangra's services. However, it was when Justice John asked if Burbal planned on representing himself if he fired Mangra, Burbal had an instant change of mind, saying he would give Mangra a chance since he was unable to represent himself. The case was adjourned to June 7th when arguments in the appeal are expected to begin. Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Bonamy.